In October 2017, after some period of suffering with BPH, which is basically an enlarged prostate, which I've been suffering with for many years, my regular GP, my doctor, decided that it might be a good idea to have an MRI just to see what was going on. I agreed. I was keen to do that. I'd had a few examinations prior to that and we didn't seem to have it under control using drugs or conventional methods, so the MRI seemed to be a logical way to progress forwards. We set the MRI up. I went for the MRI and was then asked to make a consultation with one of the top specialists in New Zealand. When I went to see the specialist, he looked at the scans and came out and diagnosed me with prostate cancer, stating there was a 20mm lesion on the back end of the prostate. I wasn't actually very shocked, surprisingly enough. I thought I may have been. I was kind of preparing myself before I went into the consultation with him. But I wasn't shocked, and one of the reasons I wasn't shocked was because I'd taken a lot of time in previous years to do some research about prostate cancer and what it means. And one of the alarming factors that I found was that most men die with prostate cancer and not from prostate cancer. And I guess that's been my driving force throughout this whole process, knowing that surgery is not the be-all and end-all of options for this disease. The specialist, rightly so, suggested that we should have surgery, or I should have surgery and a biopsy. The specialist rightly suggested that I should have a biopsy and then consider surgery. But I was reluctant to do that right from the word go, and I didn't make these feelings known to him because I understood what his reaction would be. So I left it at that and then consulted with my doctor. She was a wee bit alarmed that I was not going to consider surgery, but I was convinced that I could combat cancer following my successful battle with cholesterol many years earlier by resorting to a different lifestyle change using diet and exercise. In recent weeks I've pushed this to the limits by resorting back to a plant-based diet and taking supplements, vitamin supplements, especially vitamin D, and also I've consulted with a doctor in the US who I hope to be using for treatment. He has a good success rate, and the process that he uses does still involve chemotherapy, which at first I was alarmed about, but when I heard the process that he takes, I was a lot more relaxed about it. His process basically involves injecting a small amount of insulin into the body to close off what he calls as good cells. At that point, we inject chemo into the body, and the only cells which are left open are the cancerous cells. The cancer cells receive the chemo and are subsequently killed off. This process can take between 2 to 5 to 6 months, and it does mean to say that I'll have to travel to the US to have this treatment. My doctor has been extremely supportive throughout all of this. I consult with her on a regular basis. She's provided me with the ability to have regular PSA tests, which again I don't believe are an accurate marker for prostate cancer, but they certainly are a marker of kinds. And I guess if my levels were down at 1 or 2, then I certainly would have less of a chance of having prostate cancer. So I do keep an eye on those PSA markers. Again, generally it's going to be for her consideration, but if I can see the results reducing, then I'm going to be quite happy about that as well. I've been asked on many occasions, are you sure about this? Are you sure that the holistic, non-conventional treatments will work? No, not at all. people have said, well, you're crazy. That we know people who have survived surgery, have no complications with surgery, and have a very good lifestyle, good quality of life after this. And to them I say, congratulations, well done, and I wish you the best. For me, it isn't an option. I have had surgery in the past. I've suffered nerve damage. I've suffered other complications as a result of that surgery. It's not something I wish to go through again. And when I look at the research that I've been doing on the people that are affected by surgery, I don't really want to be one of those. I would much rather be more in charge of my own destiny than having a surgeon decide whether or not he's going to do a certain procedure during the surgery. Many years ago I had a surgery for BPH where they enlarged the inside. Many years ago I had surgery for BPH, and unfortunately that's left me with nerve damage, and that's a very, very small amount of after effects compared to some people. Some of the after effects people can experience are severe impotency, incontinence. I couldn't live in that kind of a condition, I'm afraid. So once again, to those that say I'm crazy, possibly, but I've done a lot of research. I'm confident in the route that I'm going to be taking, and I'm confident in those who I choose to work with, including the doctors, on this problem. As a result of me being diagnosed, my daughters have done an extremely good job of setting up a GoFundMe webpage, which is Dad4Dad, D-A-D, the number 4, D-A-D. We've had lots and lots of donations in so far from people, and I'm so thankful to you all for making those donations. I thank you from the bottom of my heart, and all of my family thank you. We couldn't do this journey without everybody, and those that are donating probably have a reason for donating. Maybe they have somebody in the family who is affected with cancer. That is very often the case. But to those who don't, that have been generally just generous with their money, I thank you too. And I hope that you never have to suffer, anybody in your family, with this disease. One thing that we're hoping to do with the fundraiser is to get the funding to go to the US for this treatment. Now, the reason I'm choosing the US is because I believe that there are many specialists there that have the skills and expertise to offer non-conventional treatment for cancers of all kinds. And it's our sincere hope that by using me as a guinea pig for one or many of these processes, that we can bring that kind of treatment back here to New Zealand. I'm aware already that there are many competent people here in New Zealand already helping people holistically, and for those people again I express my sincere gratitude. I have seen other people using other services in the States, Texas, Houston, San Diego, around New York, and I belong to a number of subscription sites for these people, and I guess what I'm trying to do is not try to disregard the people in New Zealand that are doing this, but give them additional help. I'm not sure that they're familiar with the latest technologies there, whereas the guys in the States certainly are. And I would love to be able to invite these doctors, specialists, to a clinic that we could set up here to help people in this country. Maybe on a month-by-month basis we could get 15 people that would be willing to come over for a month every year to help us set up the clinic. I certainly would be very happy to offer any kind of help that I could. In fact, to hire an establishment here if we can find the resources to be able to do that, as we feel that many people here get daycare. In other words, they travel to those clinics, then they're released. I think what we really need here in New Zealand is something like they have in the US, whereby you go and stay at a facility for several days at a time, maybe weeks at a time. I know in Mexico they offer these facilities, and again that's something we would certainly be looking into. So the whole process from start to finish is not about me. I'm just one of many hundreds and thousands, possibly millions of people around the world suffering with this disease. I don't believe it is a death sentence. I do believe there are alternatives. My option is to go down the non-conventional route and use more integrative, holistic methods, and by doing that I believe I have a better quality of life while that process is going on. And I want to bring that information to as many people as possible, and with your help, with your donations, we can make that happen. So once again, thank you very much indeed. Please continue to donate. Please continue to share the Facebook page and the Twitter pages, and I look forward to providing you with future updates.